I took a skin diving. Did I say scuba diving?
Yes.
I took a skin diving course. We went out there on a boat, and we went off of the backside of the island, and there was a whole bunch of a group of tarpon fish and a seahorse.
Now I see something that says the tarpon feeding dock. Is that where you went?
Well, that would have been that. I don't know where you're seeing that at.
That's on the northwest side of Key Calker, just south of the split.
That's where it'd be.
Okay.
That's where, and there was also seahorses that were attached to the grass.
Okay.
Waving in the water, and then we went out. It was. I didn't used to know. I think it's that little reef there. It says shark and yeah, right there. Shark and ray snorkel at the bottom of Keith Calker and to your right. You see that blue line there, and it says that's a reef right there.
Okay.
And that's where then the operator of the boat, the guide, they have conch shells out there, and they feed the rays and the nerf sharks come right up. They swim right around your legs and stuff.
Okay.
You're not supposed to touch them, but people do,
mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. But the reef was not that pretty. The reef in Ceylon, Sri Lanka, was beautiful compared to this reef here. But I guess there are some nice parts of the other reefs, the big one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so anyway, did that one day. And also, when I would do my walking, there was the main drag through Key Calker, a bunch of businesses there, hotels and restaurants and stuff. And this one was just a little place. It was a pink shack, and there was a whole bunch of fruit out front. Mangoes and pineapple and papayas and whatnot.
Sure.
And I walked by one day, and there was some real nice mangoes there. So I stopped and bought some. Well, the young girl was Chinese that owned and run the shop.
Okay.
And so she liked to talk to everybody. So got to talking to her, and her name was Yo-Yo. Because in China, when she was in grade school, they were talking about yo-yos, and she didn't know what yo-yos were. So she got the name Yo-Yo, and it stuck all this time. And anyway, so I used to go by there if nobody was in the shop buying or whatever. She also had some rental stuff, and just talk about China and travels and whatnot. And her parents also lived there, and they had a restaurant on the other side of the island there away from her. And so anyway, got to know Yo-Yo and would spend time with her. And like I said, just talking to the locals and the stuff there, and getting ready so I'd be in shape when I got to Costa Rica.
Okay.
So then, like I did the skin dive tour, and then one day I took the water taxi and went up to Ambergris Key. Oh, starting to tell you, I forgot the vehicles on Key Calker.
Yes.
Like I said, were just a truck, but they did have taxis.
Okay.
They were open air, just had a roof on them, and they had 3 bench seats in them. They were longer. They were like a golf cart. They were electric. They weren't buzzing around. They were quiet.
Okay.
And that's what you could ride. The tourists would ride around in. Well, then on Ambergris Key, it was automobiles and all these golf carts and stuff, and everything just screaming around. That was another reason. So I got out of the main part of the city, and I just walked, not the whole island because it's a big island, but you can kind of see where it goes up there to that road along the coast there.
Now Ambergris Key it's a lot further north of Key Calker. That's the big island. It's a big island.
That's a big island. It runs all the way up to Mexico.
Now, is that where McAfee used to live?
Yes, that's where McAfee used to live.
Okay.
Until he got in trouble.
Yeah. Now that's another story. For those of you who don't know, John McAfee, the guy who invented the McAfee antivirus, and he was a multi-millionaire, moved to Belize and got into some trouble. Allegedly, he killed his neighbor, and they tried to arrest him, and he thought he was being framed and had to leave, I think.
Yeah, I think he snuck into Guatemala, I think, or Honduras, either one or the other, and eventually made his way to the United States. And they couldn't pin anything on him. But they said he was, they claimed he was doing drugs, making drugs there. I don't know, all kinds of stuff. A lot of young girls were involved because age of consent was 16 there in Belize. And, you had all that crap going on, so I don't know for sure. But anyhow, I walked up there around, and there was people that were repairing boats, the bottom of boats that had got hit on, and just talked to them and ate dinner there, and just like I said, just walked through the town of San Pedro, and there was an old church there that was an old Catholic church, or an older Catholic church that was beautiful, and just spent the whole day just walking. Like I said, ate dinner, and then that evening I went back to Key Calker.
So Ambergris Key in the town of San Pedro it's more touristy than Key Calker, I guess.
Yes, a lot of people, a lot of foreigners there, and even met a Muslim from Lebanon that had moved there years ago.
Okay,
and he had a used, new and used washers, dryers, refrigerators, that type of stuff, and sat down with him and chatted with him for a while. Just checked everything out. Just like I said, just walked the whole, wherever I could walk, where there was a road, and just talk to people.
Well, now when you would eat, you got hungry, it's time to eat. Did you go to restaurants? Did you just buy food off of the street? What did you normally do?
No, restaurant.
Okay.
They had these little restaurants, and go in there and get a bottle of water and some food. I don't even know a lot of times what it was. Now on Key Calker, the Chinese hotel had a Chinese restaurant, of course, and that's usually where I ate. I ate 2 meals a day. Let me tell you about this. The second day that I was on Key Calker, somebody told me about Glenda's restaurant that made cinnamon rolls. She baked fresh cinnamon rolls every morning, and opened up at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, I'm looking at Glenda's restaurant. It's
okay.
It's about halfway down the island, and maybe on the western side.
Yeah, and anyway, her and another she was an older woman, I'd say 50s, 60s probably, and another older woman that worked with her. Well, yeah, I was old too, but anyway, so the first morning I went in there, I got there around 7 o'clock, and the locals that's when she opened the doors, and the locals would just cut in front of you. And because they were on their way to work, and they were getting their cinnamon rolls for breakfast. And so I started eating there every morning. I'd buy 2 cinnamon rolls, and then I'd go buy a bottle of fresh milk, and I had cinnamon rolls and milk. And then the only other time I ate was at 5 o'clock in the evening, usually at the Chinese restaurant. I ate either shrimp and noodles or vegetables and noodles.
Okay.
And so I would get there at 7 o'clock or before, because I'd already done my walking. Since for 5 o'clock, 2 hours, I'd be walking before I'd get there. And after I think the second day, when I'd be standing in line, they'd cut in front. She'd tell, no, he's here first. You get behind. And so get the cinnamon rolls. And so one day, the place is closed up, and she didn't open. And everybody started gathering out there. And she finally come out, and she says, no, I'm not selling. cinnamon rolls this morning, but she nodded to me to just stay there. And so, okay, I say that, and the people all left. And then she told me that one of the Christian churches there had ordered 100 cinnamon rolls that morning.
Okay.
And she was up all night, so she couldn't afford to sell them to nobody else because she had them 100. But she says, "I'll get you 2." And so she went in there and got me 2, and I paid for them and thanked her very much. And that's how, I mean, the people were nice. They really were. I didn't beg for it. I didn't, she just did it, because I was coming there every morning and getting 2 cinnamon rolls.
What was the price of 2? What was the price of 2 cinnamon rolls in a bottle of water?
I don't know, maybe 50 cents.
Okay.
I don't remember. But it wasn't nothing. It wasn't much at all.
Right.
A bottle of milk.
Milk. I'm sorry.
And it might have been 50 cents for the milk and 50 cents for the cinnamon rolls. But again, that was Belize money, and it was 2 to 1, two Belize dollars to 1 American dollar.
Okay, so if it cost $1 in Belize dollars, it was really 50 cents.
Yeah, really 50 cents.
Okay.
So,
by the way, Glenda's restaurant is still open, but they're closed today. I guess they're closed on the weekends.
Maybe. No, I didn't think they were, but maybe. I don't remember. It might be because of Easter too, or something.
That could very well be. It could be because of Easter.
So anyway, that was interesting, and they had crabs that would come out of the ground around there when you was waiting to get in there. Blue and orange crabs. They were beautiful colored crabs that had holes burrowed in the sand. Everything was sand. The whole island was sand.
Right.
And so anyway, let's see here now. I'm kind of got my stuff here I keep up with. The day before I was leaving Teacocker, which was my 12th day in Belize.
Okay.
I come, it was around, I don't know, early afternoon, or maybe, right around noon probably. And at Yo-Yo's place, there was this Western couple in there, young couple. And they were just raising hell with Yo-Yo. And what the deal was, they had rented out a little bitty underwater camera. It was the tiniest camera I've ever seen. The LED screen was no bigger than an inch, might have been 3/4 of an inch or something.
Okay.
And it had a waterproof housing around it. And they said that she had ruined, they went out on the scuba diving tour and said she had ruined their whole, or they told her that they had ruined, they were just screaming. He would raise hell up and down, or one, just giving it hell. And if he quit, she'd start in, and then they'd both start in. And it had gathered a whole crowd. So I just stood back and waited, and finally they left. And the people all left, and I went in, I asked her what had happened. And she said, well, they went and took her camera, and then they said it didn't work, and they opened it up underwater.
Oh.
And filled the whole camera with salt water. So I asked her, I says, well, do you mind if I look at it? And she goes, no. And so just looking at it, I knew I needed a real tiny, small Phillips screwdriver. And I told her, get me a towel, because the table had slats in it, and the floor had slats in it. And if I dropped any screw or anything, it was going down into the sand below the hut.
Right.
So she got me a towel, and she says, okay, I got to go get a screwdriver, a little Phillips screwdriver. So she says, you take care of the store. And she jumps on her bicycle and off she goes. And I said, well, what do you want me to do with the car? She says, just tell them wait, or I'll be back, or whatever. So anyhow, she took off and comes back and had the little screwdriver, and I took it apart, and the water just gushed out of it. And I says, okay, I'm going to need a pan with clean water so I can wash this in clean water. And then I'm going to need a hair dryer,
mm-hmm.
or a heat gun or something to dry it out. So she said, okay, watch the store again. And on her bicycle she goes, and gets me a hair dryer, and she had the pan and clean water there. And I had to wash it 2-3 times to just to get where I could see